Hey everybody, it's me again, second video ever, and today I'm going to talk about the importance of your portion sizes, because this is where I see a lot of people struggle, and that's totally fine because it takes some time to get used to, but there is a huge difference between sometimes what you think you're getting and what you're actually getting. So let's say a client comes to me and they said, oh, I only had 1 cup of soda. Did you have 1 cup this size? Did you have 1 cup this size? Or did you have 1 cup this size? Now, most people don't actually know how much soda they drank. Alternatively, let's say someone comes to me and they said, I had a bowl of ice cream. Did you have a bowl this size? Or this size? Or maybe you had a bowl this size. So this leads me into the importance of tracking and weighing your food. So what I brought here is, I have my scale. It's a little dirty because I use it all the time. And I have some chicken breasts. So you might be able to look at these breasts. Anyways, you may be able to look at these breasts and kind of have a general idea of how much they weigh, but we don't actually know how much they weigh until we set it on the scale. This could be anywhere from probably 1 ounce to 3 ounces. This one, I'm gonna guess, is somewhere between 2 and 4. So I have a pretty good estimate, but the thing about your food is that you don't actually know how much you're getting until you weigh it. So I'm going to set this little cup on my scale. I'm going to tare it, and let's see exactly how many ounces it weighs. So switching units and placing, let's actually start first with the little guy. This little guy is actually only 1.7 ounces. Double check, there we go. And so let's compare it to the bigger one that I grabbed. That is 3.2 ounces. So I knew roughly how much it was, but I didn't know exactly how much it was. So the calorie difference between this little guy and this bigger guy could be somewhere between 50 to 75 calories, maybe a little bit more, especially if you got a more fatty cut. And that's why it's important to track, because those 50 calories in that one chicken breast that you had at lunch and you weren't actually sure how big it was will add up slowly over the day. Now, if you're constantly guessing the amount in your food, think about how inaccurate your day could end up being. You start with breakfast, you have your eggs. Eggs are pretty straightforward. They're usually about 70 calories total. But you start adding them in, you go out to eat, you don't really know how many eggs are in that meal that you're eating. And then you add your salsa on top, you add your sour cream. If you didn't weigh it, you could have 1 tablespoon, you could have 2 tablespoons. So you could have anywhere from upwards of 200 calories, 300 calories more than you thought with just your breakfast alone, if you didn't know how many eggs, how much sour cream, or how much salsa was truly in it. Let's go to snack time. You decide to have an apple or a banana, for example. We know that bananas can come smaller and they can come larger, but if we don't really weigh it, how much banana do you think we're really getting? And you know that bananas are full of carbs, so that can be a lot of calories added in. So maybe you thought you had a 100 calorie banana, but you really had a 200 calorie banana, just because it had that extra 1.5 inches compared to what you logged. Fast forward to lunch. This is where we have our chicken. You have that little bit of chicken. You guess it's about 2.5 ounces. It really ends up being more like 3.5. Your side, you have some vegetables, which are usually pretty easy to track, and you have about a cup, and so you assume that's about 50 calories, and you log that. Well, what you didn't log is the sauces that you put on your chicken. So let's say you chose some barbecue sauce and you didn't weigh that out. Did you have 30 calories worth of sauce, or did you have 60 calories worth of sauce? You don't know unless you weigh it. Moving into dinner, for example, usually a pretty heavy meal that people have. You decide that you're trying to be healthy, so you're cooking at home. You decide that you're going to make burgers, and you patch your burger, whatever, you're gonna throw it on the grill. You look at your burger, you say, okay, I bet that's 3 ounces. Well, it turns out your burger, which is actually very calorie packed because it has a lot of fat in it, is actually a 5-ounce burger, and you have officially added on 150, 200 calories. Let's say you have 2 of those burgers that you're assuming are about 3 ounces. You actually have had probably more like 9 or 10 ounces worth of meat. That adds on about 500 calories. So just imagine over the course of the day, if you're always guessing, how inaccurate you can be. And so where you think that you're eating your 2,000 calories a day, you're actually maybe eating closer to 25 to 3,000 calories a day because you have not accurately been logging the food that you eat. Now, do you have to log everything constantly all the time? No. But if you're eating things that are high carb, high fat, it's good to know the true amount. Things like vegetables, you can usually get away with taking a guess. I actually really like leaning more towards things like my grains, like oatmeal, just guessing with a measuring cup. But when it comes to things that are high fat or a high carb, it's best to get that accurately weighed out. Even your proteins, although we know that protein is good for us, and a high protein diet helps us build muscle, recover. We tend to praise protein, but we think poorly of carbs and fats. They also have calories in them and must be weighed as well. So that's my little tip for you guys for this week. Think about how you may be off just a little bit in ways that you can improve. Now, do you have to carry a scale with you everywhere you go? Absolutely not a necessity. But if you're trying to eat healthier and you're eating at home more, it might be time to start incorporating using your scale. Thanks, guys. I still can't